All right, today we're going to be going over questions 47 through 60. These are the final questions that will be on your midterm coming up this week. All right, so the first question we're going to start at is number 47. This is just like if we had an equal sign, but the difference is now we have an inequality symbol there. Okay, so the goal is to get the variable by itself. Hayden, what do I have to do to get the y by itself? Very good. We're going to go ahead and add by 4 to both sides. Isaac, what do we get when we do that?
You get 0.
No.
I mean, you get y, and then you have to divide it 6 by 4.
We're not dividing. It says 6 plus 4. Okay, so we need to bring down 6 plus 4 is 10. And what about the symbol?
You put plus.
What do we do with the symbol, class? Drop it down. Okay, so the final answer is y is greater than 10. Jalen, how do I graph something like this?
Put the 10 in the middle.
Okay, we always have 3 numbers. We'll put the 10 in the middle.
The 9 is on that side. That 11 is on the other side.
Okay, is this open or closed circle? It is an open circle because there's no equal sign. And which direction should my arrow go?
To the 11.
Okay, he says to the left. So now I want you just to double check.
I see that. I said to the 11.
Right.
Right, I guess.
Okay, so yeah, one way that we could tell that this wasn't right is that looks like a less than. This looks than a right than. Okay, looks like a right than. So instead, it says all solutions are greater than 10. We want it to go to the right because I could plug in an 11 right here. 11 is greater than 10, so that's how we know it should be going to the right. Okay, the next problem, number 48, is probably one of the toughest problems that you will see on your midterm. Here's the deal. We have the x and it's on the right side, but we don't want it on the right side. We want it on the left side. So what I've got to do is I've got to switch sides. So I'm going to put the negative 2x plus 6 on the left, and I'm going to put the 36 on the right. But if I am switching these two, what else has to switch? The sign. So now instead, it's going to look like this. This is a two-step problem. Who are the best friends here? Negative 2x. So keep that together as long as possible. Trenton, what should I do next?
Minus 6.
Very good. We're going to subtract by 6 on both sides. Matthew, what do you get? Very good. Hope, what do I do now?
Divide by negative 2 on this side.
Very good. We want to get rid of multiply by negative 2. So in order to do that, we're going to divide by negative 2 on both sides. When we do that, Gavin, what do you get? Okay, read the whole thing. Very good. Guys, is that my final answer?
Yes.
No,
You have the graph.
Okay, not just the graph. There's something wrong with that answer.
And you got to switch it.
The last thing we did was multiply or divide by a negative number, which means we have to flip the symbol. That was probably the most common mistake I've seen today because we have forgotten about that tiny rule. Remember, if the last thing you do is multiply or divide by a negative number on both sides, you must flip the symbol. Now we're going to go ahead and graph these 3 numbers. Einar, what number goes in the middle? What goes to the left? And to the right? Is it open or closed? It is a closed circle because there is an equal sign. And which direction should the arrow go? To the left because all solutions are less than negative 15. Any questions on that number? All right, we kind of just mentioned this just a minute ago, number 49. When do you have to flip the inequality symbol? Noah, when is it?
The last thing you do is multiply and divide.
If the last thing you do is multiply or divide what? By a negative number, even more specific than that. When the last thing you do is multiply or divide by a negative number. On both sides, okay? So it's got to be something when the last thing you do is multiply or divide by a negative number on both sides. Okay, that is when you will need to flip the symbol. All right, a modeling real life problem. The tires on your truck will last no more than 800 miles longer. Write and graph an inequality that represents the situation. When we have something like this, we're always going to start with the variable. So we're going to put an x. Then we're going to put the number. What number do we have here? 800. The hardest part is coming up with what the inequality symbol will be there. So you want to focus on this. It says it will last no more than. That means not more than. So if it's not more than, it has to be less than. And then the question is, if it says it won't last more than 800 miles longer, could it last exactly 800 miles longer? So what else do I need to put there? An equal sign. All right, Angeline, if you would, go ahead and graph this for us, please. Very good. Very good. All right, so is this going to be open or closed? It is closed because there's an equal sign, and it says all solutions are less than 800, so which direction should it go? Which way is less than 800? Okay, going to the left, 799. All right, next problem, number 51. In order to ride the Hulk at Universal Studios, you must be no less than 54 inches. Write and graph an inequality that represents the situation. The first thing you're going to do is put the variable, then you're going to put the number, which is 54. Could you be exactly 54 inches? Yes. Then focus on what it says. You can be no less than, which means you have to be? It must be greater than. Okay, so the correct thing is x is greater than or equal to 54. Hope, what number should go in the middle?
54.
And to the left?
53.
To the right?
55.
Okay, open or closed?
Closed.
Closed circle because it is equal to. And it says all solutions are greater than 54. Which direction should the arrow go?
Right.
To the right is correct. All right, as I looked at your review sheets, a lot of people messed up on this because they forgot to put the actual units. So remember, when we have something that looks like this, we're writing 300 words per 4 minutes. Do I want to have a 4 in my denominator? No. What do I want in my denominator? A 1. How do I get that 4 to turn into a 1? Correct. I divide by 4 on both sides. Okay, when you do that, Einar, what do you get? Okay, he says 75 over 1. What am I missing here that I have to have? Units. For unit rate, you must have units attached. So, Einar, what would my units be?
75 words per 1 minute.
You are correct. 75 words per 1 minute. Okay, the next one, people get tricked up because there are fractions there. But remember, this is going to be done the same exact way. I've got 1/4 of a mile per 1/12 of an hour. What does this fraction bar mean?
Divide.
It means to divide. So if I am dividing this, just remember we're going to write 1/4 divided by 1/12. Am I allowed to divide fractions? No. So what do I have to do?
KFC.
We're going to do KFC. Keep the,
First.
flip the,
Second.
and change the.
Operation.
Very good. Talila, can I cross-reduce anything? Yes. What can I make? And what do they become? A 3 and a 1. So, Jalen, what's my answer? With units attached. We're on number 53.
Oh. 3 miles per 1 hour.
Very good. 3 miles per 1 hour. For the next ones, it asked us to tell whether or not the ratios form a proportion. Who knows how to do a problem like this? What should I do, Trent?
Cross product.
Okay, we're going to do cross products. Trenton, keep going.
Then you do 24 times 4. Then 6 times 18, and 24 times 4 equals 96, and 6 times 18 equals 108.
Okay, and do those equal each other?
No.
No, so you're going to just put a little slash through it right here. The answer is no, because those two did not equal each other. They do not form a proportion. Okay, next one, Noah. How do I do this one? Okay, very good. We're going to do cross products again. Okay, tell me what to do.
You put the 12 times, or yeah, you drop it down equal sign, and you 12 times 2 over 3.
Okay, and then I could put that over a 1 if I wanted to. And on the right side?
You do 8 times, or, yeah, 8 times 1.
Very good. Can I cross reduce anything on the left side?
You cross reduce the 3 and 4.
What do they become?
1 and 4.
Very good. And on the left side, what do we get?
8 over 1.
Okay, 8 over 1, which is just 8. And on the right side?
You get 8.
Does 8 equal 8?
Yes.
Yes, so this does form a proportion. For the next one, solve the proportion using mental math. How many of you love doing mental math? How many of you would rather do cross products? Okay, hands are down. So listen, on the exam, there will be parts where you have to actually show me different methods. In this case, we're going to be showing mental math. Our whole goal is to figure out what x is. So I have to figure out how to get from 12 to x. The way that I do that is I try to find the missing link from 18 to 3. What is that missing link, guys?
Divide by 6.
Okay, notice it's bigger and it's getting smaller, so I have to divide it by 6. When I do that on the bottom, I also have to do it on the top. So at the bottom, you can see 18 divided by 6 equals 3. 12 divided by 6 equals 2. So the correct answer is x equals 2. Raise your hand if you got that correct. All right, once again, if you did not, erase it. And on your actual exam, the work that I will need to see is the missing link. Show me, how did you get from one to the other, okay? That's an excellent question. He asked if there was a way to check it. Yes, if I were to come back over here, everybody put this in your calculator, 12 over 18. All right, so he got 0.6 repeating. Now, instead of x over 3, what can we plug in there? 2 over 3, because that's our answer. So put that in your calculator, 2 divided by 3. And then let me know, what do you get, guys? 0.6 repeating, okay? So you asked, can I check it? Yes. You check it to see, do those two equal each other when you plug it back in? And if they do, then you did it correctly, okay? Let's go on to the next one and try this one out also. We are trying to get to the x, okay? So this time I am working from the right side to the left side. How do I get from a 2 over to a 6? I have to multiply by 3. So 2 times 3 equals 6, which means at the bottom I have to do 14 times 3, and that equals what? Equals 42, okay? A lot of people did it backwards and they did divided by, but you would get the wrong answer if you did that. Then once again, if you wanted to check it, you can just plug in that 42 right there, and you would see that both sides equals 1/7 when you simplify it. All right, number 58. This is another one of those kind of tough problems that I've seen a lot of people struggle on today. Solve the proportion using what? Cross products. Okay, so we're going to be using cross products. I'm just curious, what are some of the answers that you guys came up with for this? All right, we have someone who got a 7. Who else got something different? Gavin? Negative what? Negative 3 halves. Okay, what else do we have? Matthew? 1.5? Who has a different one? 3?
Positive 3.2.
Positive 3.2. Who has another one? 0.7?
I'm in.
Okay, how many of you would say you do see your answer up there? Okay, let's see here in just a minute what the correct answer is. Do we want my x to be on the left side or on the right side? You always want the x on the left side. So to the left, this is where most people made the biggest mistake. 10 times x plus 5 equals 7 times 5. How many of you would say your left side looked like that? Okay. What do I have to do now with that 10? I have to distribute it using the distributive property, which means I have to multiply it by that and multiply it by that. A lot of things I've seen people do today, they have added it, but you got to multiply. Guys, what's 10 times x? 10x. Plus, what's 10 times 5? 50. How many of you would say you got that part correct? If you did not, erase it and fix it. That's where a lot of people made that mistake, which is why I say this is one of the more difficult problems on your review sheet. On the right-hand side, Noah, what's 7 times 5? 35. Do we have any best friends here? 10x. Keep it together as long as you can. Isaac, what do I do next?
Then you divide the 10x by itself.
Nope, I'm going to keep the 10x together as long as I can.
Divide the 50 by itself.
I'm not going to divide 50. It's adding 50 there. What's the opposite of add by 50?
Take away 50.
There you go. So we're going to subtract 50 on both sides. When we do that, Huang, what do we get? 10x equals negative 15. Is there anybody who got this far? Okay. Huang, why don't you keep going for us then?
Divide by 10 on both sides.
Very good. We do want to divide by 10 on both sides so that we can get that 10 all by itself. And then what happens? X equals negative 1.5. All right, so up here we did have negative 3/2, which is super similar, but I would prefer to have it turned into a decimal, okay? How many of you see where you made your mistake? Okay, there's a lot of little steps and tiny details to go into this, but the main thing people have messed up on is this step right here, where they are distributing that 10 to the x and the plus 5. All right, for the next modeling real life, you can type 350 characters in 75 seconds. Your friend can type 400 characters in 100 seconds. Do these rates form a proportion? Ava, what should I do?
350 characters over 75 seconds equals 400 characters over 100 seconds.
All right, excellent. I love it. And you also told me the units that were attached, so thank you. Notice she has characters per second on the left side, which means she also wants to have characters per second on the right side. What'd you do after that? Okay, she did cross products. How many of you would say you also did cross products? Okay, when you did it, what'd you get? Double check. What is 350 times 100? All right, 35,000. And on the right side, she did 75 times 400. What do you get for that? 30,000. Do those two equal each other? No. So I'm going to put a little slash through my equal sign because no, they do not equal each other, which means no, they do not form a proportion. So listen, that's not the only way that you could have done it, okay? It sounds like Gavin also did it a separate way. Let me show you this way. He still set it up the same way, 350 characters per 75 seconds, 400 characters per 100 second. But it looks like he divided these. When you divided that right there, what'd you get? Okay, and on the right-hand side, when you divided this, what'd you get? 4 over 1, which is 4, and do those equal each other? No. So notice he found the same thing, he just did it a different way, and either way that you choose to do it will be perfectly fine for the midterm. For the final question today, an 8-ounce steak costs $12.80. How much would a 32-ounce steak cost? Who would like to help me with this one? All right, Jalen, what'd you do?
$12.80.
Okay, 8 ounces over 12.80.
And I put 32 ounces over X.
Okay, very good. 32 ounces over X. Notice we're trying to find the cost. So he has ounces per cost, or over cost. Then what did you do?
I divided 80 and 32. And that was 4. So I did 4 times 12.
Okay, so he chose to do mental math here. You're trying to get from here to that. So he discovered the missing length was 4 times 4 on top times 4 on bottom. When you did that, what'd you get for your answer?
$51.20.
Okay, so listen, I saw a lot of people write this, 51.2. You would lose points on your midterm if you did that. Why? What's wrong with that?
No, you're supposed to have 2 numbers behind you.
You have to always have 2 numbers, 1, 2. So what should he put there?
0.
A 0, which he did already tell us that, okay? How many of you did it with cross products? Okay, if you did it cross products, you would have also found the same answer, $51.20. All right, so I wish you the best of luck on your midterm. Please use this study guide to help you actually review to do the best you possibly can on your midterm.